recording a quick update for you guys. I wanted to get to this real quick. I apologize for missing today's meeting. This is in place of today's meeting. We're also going to have a follow-up meeting tomorrow if anyone wants to attend. It will be at 3 p.m. CST. It's Friday at 3 p.m. CST, just for everyone who wants to catch up and then also ask their questions in person. We will be on that meeting as well, but I wanted to provide this update just, because everyone can't make the meetings, and I wanted to make sure that everyone kind of gets the information. So today's meeting is all about delays, and then also like what is being done for the delays, and then testing as well. So the first thing is delays. Two primary delays are happening right now. Number one is with the social engagement engine C, also we call it Wonder Engine, whatever you want to call it. We have a bunch of changes that are being made, so we'll kind of start there, and we'll also talk about testing while we're talking about it. And then the second thing is we have a series of Telegram tools that we're using to market, and we are having issues with the account generators and IP addresses. So we are solving that by starting a new version of that software with proxies and stuff like that. We have identified a solution, so we are going to hopefully implement that and test it through the weekend and find the solution to be effective, like starting on Monday. So the first thing is C. C is basically all being tested in this group. I see a lot more people have joined. Thank you guys for joining. You can, of course, access the command manual here. I went over the command manual in a previous video, so I won't really go over it right now. But what I will go over is what's happening with C and how like the testing will work. So the first thing is C is running on an external server and a VPN, and basically the software needs to be started and stopped between testing sessions to prevent us from using too much data. Now we have enough data for it to run 24/7 once it's been tested, but we want to make sure that everything is working properly so we're not having issues because it uses APIs and everything like that, and we have a certain number of pings that we can make monthly, and we want to make sure that we make those count. So going up here, you can see there's like a litany of different commands that are happening. I will make announcements. Basically, we're going to start a testing session, we're going to stop a testing session, and that's how you will know when the computer is running and when C is running, or Wonder Engine is running as well. So you can see I said testing session today is completed, and right now the system is not running. But the current issues that we're having is basically all written out in this this write-up that I made for the developer. I'm going to post this at the end of this meeting and basically share this with the community so that it's transparent of what's going on. But I wanted to go over this with the team first. So really, like, the give points command is having an issue finding users in Telegram. We may have to have like another layer of login, so we're figuring that out. The setup for the Instagram and the hashtag setup for Twitter hashtags is not basically processing the verification, right? So basically you can enter hashtags that don't exist, you can enter multiple hashtags that don't exist, and so if you make an error, it's not going to basically catch it, and you're going to be not logging data for months potentially. Not a huge error, but we want to make sure to fix it. Most of these commands right here, like registration active, help, contest name, they work in what's called sequences. So you have a set of admin commands that only admins in the system can use and pull up to prevent people from taking over the system. And then you also have user commands. And then you have commands that are neutral, right? And I went over this in the last video. If you guys are interested in this, there's more information in the last video. But to make a long story short, there's actually two commands to start the setup process, right? So you can do user setup and start setup. Start setup is basically how you start the admin setup and configure all of like what Instagram account you're watching, what Twitter account you're watching, what content you're watching, when registration is active, right? All of those different things. So the issue here is that we're having problems basically using these commands outside of that particular flow, right? You can't use these commands unless it's in sequence, which causes a problem. Basically, meaning you have to run through the whole setup sequence to make changes. Not a huge deal. It's just really annoying to have to run through like the whole sequence and make changes. So this command right here again is in sequence, right? None of these Instagram setup commands work, Twitter setup commands, Telegram setup works. Basically, this is how you assign token values to these actions, right? Like follows, hashtag quote values, all of that can be basically independently adjusted based on what's going on in the market. Eventually, the DAO itself will make those adjustments, like based on a bond rate, but that's like a different story. Right now, those commands just can't be called, so that's like the issue. They can't be called outside the sequence. And then the Discord, this tool also works on Discord. It will eventually be unified across a number of channels. But the Telegram and Discord commands need to be synonymous because I need to, like, we all need to know, like, what we're scoring on what channel. So these are all the commands that are currently in the system that are not working. Abort command does not work to get out of a setup sequence. The register wallet command is not properly registering. All commands need to be active outside of command flows. That was basically just me reiterating that needs to happen. Then the user setup flow invites and change the profile image, basically change the bot image to the Nucleus logo for the Wonder image. So those are all of like the major changes here. The other side of it was basically we tested the admin side on Discord. We've tested on Telegram. I'm pretty comfortable with it. It all basically works properly besides not being able to call a few commands indefinitely and also not being able to call a few commands outside of the flow. So what we did now is we merged in the user setup commands. These are all the commands that the users are going to be able to go through. So basically this is how all of the commands look inside of the technical command manual, right? So it basically tells you exactly what's happening, all of the alternative sequences that exist inside of it, and you know exactly like what's going on. And I'm not going to go over all this. You guys can go over it if you want to have this much detail into it, right? But we basically are installing all of this new functionality into it for users, and there's a lot, right? There's also new admin commands in terms of airdrop control, right? So like there's not enough airdrop control. This will basically allow us to create point allocations and make a lot of differentiations between groups, because this can run in basically an infinite amount of groups and distribute one token right now. Eventually it'll be able to distribute hundreds of tokens in a multitude of groups, and it needs to be able to recognize you know exactly what's going on with each one of those groups and each users and who's eligible for which token. So we kind of began the process of building that logic into the system. So when this update is done, the system will be completely finished. Version 1 will, and that will be super exciting because we'll basically be ready to test at full scale once again. So we will make the announcement, as I said previously in this group. Everyone can basically go in here and test and you know, see exactly what they think needs to be done. Number 2 is Einstein Mine. You can also test Einstein Mine, and we really want everyone to test Einstein Mine. Currently, all of these deposits here are from the developer and myself. So we want to make sure that we can get the balance up high and see exactly what's happening and how it's behaving. And you don't have to deposit actual BNB. I am on MetaMask right now, but I'm on the Binance testnet, right? And there's a great article that I'm going to include by the Spartan Protocol on how to connect MetaMask to BSC testnet. So that will get you guys all set up to basically get some testnet BNB. And of course, it will have this, but I'll also tell you, you can paste your address into this testnet faucet, get 0.5 BNB, and start basically making deposits and see exactly how Einstein Mine works. I'll go over a brief overview in a second, but I just want you guys to be able to test it, and also for us to be able to test it with multiple users and see exactly how stable it is. In a nutshell, you're basically depositing BNB to get lab assistance, and lab assistants produce formulas at a certain rate, right? And those formulas are redeemable for BNB, right? So in a nutshell, really, you're buying BNB producing assets to produce more BNB, and this is the indication of basically how much BNB that you have produced, and this is an indication of your BNB production power. A few other things happen, right? This right here is the time decay. So over time, your BNB production power is being discounted by this much, right? It only increases by 0.1% per day, but over time, that's a lot, which means like if you're harvesting a lot, you're losing a lot of BNB production power. But if you're compounding a lot, you're gaining a lot of BNB production power because you have this time bonus every single day. This is your withdrawal. You can only withdraw once every 24 hours, right? There's a whole set of rules, and I'm not going to go over them right now, but that's kind of the basics. You can learn more by visiting the white paper there and get a better idea. You guys let me know if it's clear. If it's not, we can always add more details. Again, we're just in testing right now, and this is exactly why we're doing this. When you come in here and you test, you can just make a deposit. I guess I'll make one more just to demonstrate. So this is hire this assistance, right? So boom, I just hired more assistants, and in probably about 20 seconds, we'll see all of this stuff update. You'll see the contract balance go up by 0.1. You'll see the total stake go up by 0.1. You will see all of the different things change. The only thing that we're actually missing here is the governance, and some of these different gauges aren't working. So, we'll continue doing that and moving it. And you guys are probably wondering why that just happened. It went up by 0.9. That's because the tax that we're taking is virtually 10%, right? With the gas fees and everything else that's going on, there's virtually a 10% tax. And that's what makes this a bond, right? Like you can't see it now, but you're earning not only BNB, right, on your original investment, but you're also earning governance tokens, right? EMC governance tokens at a certain rate, and that rate is discounted to the market rate, not only by this time decay, right, by the actual market fluctuation rate that you're getting, right? So because of what you're able to do, and you can actually compound it, you can earn more and more tokens and participate in the ecosystem. So that's really the purpose of the contract. And we want to make sure that everything's clear. We're testing everything, experience, the explanation, right? All of it. So we want to make sure that we get your feedback, and we would love for you guys to just continue to deposit in here, play around, let us know what you think, and any issues that you find with the way that it operates, let us know. This button will be grayed out. This is like a totally arbitrary button, but people always like, I got a few questions about this. This is push to pre-sale. That is going to be a way to bond your actual profit, right? So like, let's just say, hey, I don't want to wait for my profit to basically, because let me back up. When you deposit in here, right, you're earning, and you're basically able to compound, but you're also earning linear amounts of tokens per day, and those tokens are being deposited into the claim system, right? So the claim system also has a time lock on it. So you're basically being hampered by two weights that you're having to have, because this is like your rewards, or what your EMC tokens are taking a while to be earned, and then you're also having to wait to harvest them, right? If you wanted to just basically bond them like in an instant bond and be able to reclaim them quicker, you can push them to the pre-sale. Now, eventually we'll be able to hold more protocols on here, and we will be able to build bond protocols for other projects. So if you're already participating and earning EMC tokens, this will be a way for you to basically earn new tokens using basically this system, right? And over time, you should be able to ROI to where you're basically just playing with house money and earning tokens, and you built yourself a nice governance maintenance position. So that's the purpose of this right here. It's basically just a bonding mechanism for working capital, but it's super cool. So you guys test it out. Let me know what you think. Ask me any questions if none of this makes sense, and then let me know, what your thoughts are. And you can also use it on dark mode, which is cool. So yeah, I think that's really the only thing. Let me make sure and take a look at my notes. The other thing is just team consolidation and meeting scheduling. I've already talked about this. We're going to be rescheduling the meeting till tomorrow at 3, and then everything else will kind of go from there. We have some great updates on the marketing side. I'm not going to make the updates. I'm going to let the team member who is going to lead that make those updates when he feels like he is up to speed. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on that sense of things, and so we're going to start testing to just start preparing for launch, guys. So that is everything for now. If I think of anything else, I will let you guys know. But y'all have a great day, and I appreciate y'all as always for tuning in. And please leave any questions that y'all have.